Action.
For that.
Okay.
You want to drive him into the bit.
Give him the shoulder tap cue.
Okay, so right here, I'm just trotting forward. I'm going to stop him, and I'm not pulling on his face. I'm trying to be real soft-handed with him. So I'm going to stop, wait just a second, and then roll back to the outside and really overbend because he's very stiff in his rib cage. And you can see it in his front end. It locks up and is the last part of his body to move. Right there, I'm just trying to ask him to soften and collect a little bit. He's a little bit elevated in his lead departures, but as I get him more broke, that'll level out. See, and right here, as I asked him to go to a trot, he raises his head and just braces up. So I'm focused right there on really getting him soft in that bridle. And you can see him soften for a couple strides, and then he wants to brace back up again, and then I'm softening him again, and then he's bracing back up again. So it's very repetitive. He's not going to hold it for very long. This is a gradual process. He's already got his earplugs in because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget. So that's what the orange strings are sticking out of his ears. I have them tied together. That way if he shakes his head and one pops out, they don't fall on the ground. Okay, he tried to pick up the wrong lead right there. You can already tell a subtle improvement. He's loping a little bit more forward and his head's dropping, and he's giving to that bit a little bit more than he was a moment earlier. And right here, I'm just asking him to pick up his shoulder and move to the outside. He was making his circle a little smaller than I wanted. And I'm also using a lot of inside leg to push him out. In other words, as I am squeezing with my legs to drive him into the bridle, he doesn't know yet that that just means break over at the pole and be soft. He thinks that means speed up. And that's a very normal response as they are learning this. And you can see how much better he looks right there. Okay, we're going to watch this in slow motion. You can see that he really does not want to be soft and bent over in the front. He's more inclined to move his back end over his front end. What's interesting is that we had a chiropractor come out and work on him the other day and made a big difference. He is now on rest for 2 days, so it gives me a little time to update my video editing here. And I'm excited to see what he rides like afterwards, but she did say that he was really tight in the front. A little better lead departure here. He didn't pop up in the air quite as much. Okay, I intentionally broke him to a trot in front of the camera so you guys can really see that braciness that I'm talking about on his downward transitions. Again, just working on some softening, getting them driven into the bridle. See, look how much better that looks. Good boy, Boo. My dog right there, Piper, is always in the arena with me. She's my little buddy. I think she's judging me secretly on what I could be doing better, though. I think she knows more than I do sometimes. Yep, you can see right there. He just doesn't want to move that shoulder. He wants to move that butt. But he's licking and chewing right there. I really like that. And I do notice that most of the time when I'm riding. I really try to pay attention to that. It's a good indicator of whether or not your horse is understanding what you're asking, or if they're getting more and more anxious about what you're asking them to do. And right here, this tells me that he's processing everything. He's starting to relax more and more, and he just feels better. This horse has always been real bound up in the center, and every day that I work with him, it gets looser and looser, and he just gets calmer and calmer. So I'm pretty happy with him. And right here, I'm just trying to change things up and work on his steering. I don't want to get him too patterned on a circle. I'm just trying to change it up. See, that's looking better. He's getting softer on his downward transition. Okay, so I got bucked off, so she stopped recording, and no, I'm kidding. Actually, I have no idea why the video skips right here. Not a clue. My bet is that the battery was about to die on the GoPro, or it did die, and then she hooked up the external charger for it. I really like my GoPro, but the battery life on these things are not great, and they tend to overheat really easily. So if you're like a camera guru and you want to leave me a comment below with some suggestions on how to fix that, that would be greatly appreciated. And here I am just changing the size of my circles just to check my steering. Horse training consists of a great deal of repetition. So I like to joke and say that if it was more exciting of a job, that more people would do it. But in fact, it should not be super exciting or dramatic. It's just a lot of doing the same things over and over until they learn what it is you're asking them to do, and then you move on to something else, and then you go back and you kind of refresh some stuff here and there, but it's just a slow, steady progress. I love my dog, but if one of my dogs gets in the way and they get run over by a horse because they weren't paying attention, that's on them, not on the horse. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just fast forward to the end because basically what you're gonna miss is just a whole lot of me doing the same thing over and over, which is walk, trot, lope both ways and keeping them soft in the transitions and things like that, which you're already getting a good deal of. So let's fast forward a little bit. If you liked this video and want to see more content just like this, in that little description box below, go to our Patreon page. You can subscribe for as little as $5 a month, and there's 3 different levels to choose from. Besides that, the interns kind of need a little bit of extra money. They're just a bunch of poor college kids. Right, Emerson?
I haven't eaten today.
So if you would, check out our Patreon page. We hope to see you there.
We're about to get a bronc, maybe.
I know, in the middle of all of this.
Fucking around. I haven't eaten.
Okay, now for the fun part, shooting. Let's go over some quick tips. 1, you want to make sure that when you fire that gun, the smoke is not going to blow across your horse's face or body. Half the time, the horses are more afraid of the smoke than the sound of the gun firing. 2, your rhythm. Cock your gun on the count of 1, fire it on 3. So it's 1, 2, bang. 1, 2, bang. This way the horse knows exactly when that gun is going to go off. 3, areas of concern. If your horse is afraid of like barrels or banners hanging on the fence or things like that, anywhere in the arena where they have worries, don't shoot in that area. Make sure you're out in the open and the horse has plenty of room to move around freely. Number 4, position of the gun. Avoid shooting near the horse's head. You can shoot at the 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock position or behind. So that's a really good response. I don't want him to lock up, so I'm going to gently squeeze him forward and just ask him to keep his feet moving. I want this horse to find comfort through forward motion, not by bracing up. That's been a problem with him basically from day one, and that's something we've been working on, but he handled that really well. The amount of time between my shots is going to be determined based on that horse's reaction to that first shot. His was pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and do several more. Again, I'm squeezing with my legs as soon as I shoot to ask him to continue walking forward and not brace up. Let's fast forward through some of the walking. And you can see a little bit of an improvement with that shot. He was a little calmer. You'll notice as I lean forward, he's getting a little bit more alert, like his head raised up and he sped up a little bit because he's a little bit on edge now that I've been shooting. And he hides it pretty well because he is a lazy horse, but he's still like, well, I'm not so sure about this. Gonna fast forward through some walking again here. Okay, so right here, I tried to shoot, but my gun was empty because I'm terrible about counting my shots. But he still responded to the click, click, click because with these single action revolvers, they hear you cocking that hammer back before you shoot. So they know that it's coming. So he's just anticipating right here.
Babe, this thing ain't working out. I think we need a new direction. You're at home in this small town and I'm just feeling fenced in. No need to complicate it, it just goes that way sometimes. This is your place, I'll find mine. You take the house, I'll take the car. I'm leaving town and far away from you. I don't care what no one's got to say. You go your way, I'll take the highway. I've had this dream of leaving now. I think it's time that it came true. Find myself on the open road. Well, what have I got to lose?
Getting better. Yeah.
Let the mountains, hills, and valleys grab my heart.
And that's it. Please remember to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.
I hate losing you, but